What's up guys, this is Darkbblue. Genshin Impact has been drawing more and more attention, but do you really know why? Don't try to answer now since your answer might be wrong. If you are playing Genshin Impact, you might not understand its essence. And if you don't play it, this may be because you don't understand it correctly. So in this video, let me tell you what I expect from Genshin Impact. If I'm asked what's the best part of Genshin Impact today, my answer will absolutely be world design. Once upon a time, Dragon Spine Mountain was considered the best map of this game, but nowadays maybe many people will just think, well, it's one of the early low-quality areas. In our new maps, almost every mountain in the rainforest hides some caves inside, and there is even larger space under the desert than on its surface. So you can see, developers are always making progress in their world design, and I see no ending for this progress. But how do they make it? I think this is because, in essence, they are not designing open world maps, but Hakoniwa worlds. You just need to compare Genshin Impact with Ubisoft-style open worlds. They are both called open worlds, but they are different. Ubisoft-style worlds, well, are consisted of largely program-generated terrain and a small proportion of manual work. While on the contrary, Hakoniwa worlds require heavy labor. Every corner should be handcrafted, and this is just the case for Genshin Impact. In fact, there is a perfect example for this, Superland. If you think there are too many various elements in Genshin Impact, it's hard to get the Hakoniwa part of it, you can try to play Superland and you will find many familiar feelings. The whole world of Superland is consisted of puzzles. Everywhere you look, you will notice many small puzzles and a few large-scale puzzles. Puzzles are everything. After understanding the design of Superland, you will find it easier to understand how Genshin Impact is developed. Of course, you can propose other reasons why its world design is awesome, like accumulation of experience, but the most important reason in my opinion is just as I said, because they are designing Hakoniwa worlds. The results naturally become delicate puzzles making up the world. Obviously, this design philosophy results in heavy labor. That's why most developers tend to choose Ubisoft-style open worlds even if they know it has drawbacks. Fortunately, Genshin Impact is a long-term service game. In each update, we receive a small Hakoniwa map, which is, well, not too impossible to complete. But when updates accumulate up, we have an open world scale big map. According to what we can see now, I can see world design is now the core target of developing, so we can have confidence in them. More high-quality maps will be provided for us in the coming year. There are many things you can expect from Genshin Impact. World design we covered just now is currently the best part of this game, but combat is what I think with the greatest potential. So let's discuss combat next. So how can we understand combat in Genshin Impact? I tend to approach it from the aspect of traditional JRPG games. This is an example of a typical JRPG game. This is a turn-based game. You control many characters simultaneously, and each of them has various skills and abilities. All combined together, there is a large space for different possible strategies, and this is why JRPGs are interesting. Problem is, turn-based games are no longer popular, so some developers are trying to transform their JRPG into real-time ERPG games. But you can see, all these strategies work fine in turn-based style since you always have enough time to think. But in a real-time ARPG game, however, thinking fast enough is difficult. So in many real-time JRPGs, you are still allowed to pause the time and choose a skill. But this will break the whole game into fragments, and I don't think it's a wise solution. And now Genshin Impact comes, and it succeeds in finding a clever solution to this problem. This solution is dividing combat into pre-combat and in-combat, and put strategy in pre-combat stage and action in in-combat stage. As we can see, before the combat, we can pick up 4 characters from a bunch of them. You need to consider their elemental synergy, whether they can do damage when they are even not on the field, and there are many characters with skills that can benefit others. This surely provides a large space for strategy making. But after you enter combat, you will have much less to think about. You have only 4 characters to control, and each of them has only 3 skills. Furthermore, there can only be 1 character on the field in the meantime. Since there are much less to consider, there will be a larger room for action design, and there's no need for opposing mechanics. In conclusion, Genshin Impact has provided us with a clever solution to how to make JRPGs more like real-time ARPG while still maintaining the fun of strategy. But I said, combat of Genshin Impact is of the greatest potential instead of the most fun part. This means this potential is not fully released. As for why I think it's restricted by how this game earns money, gacha. Players of Genshin Impact pay to get characters and weapons, and it's characters and weapons that make strategy happen. Therefore, players that have paid different amount of money in this game will have totally different experience in combat. But I can sense developers are trying to avoid this. They are trying to make sure players can have similar experience. And they achieve this by making combat super easy. In this way, even if you have paid a lot, you won't find yourself overwhelming other players, since the combat is just too easy. You don't actually need all that powerful characters and weapons. For example, many players are not happy with shadowy husks. But just imagine, if every character and weapon was free in this game, would you think husks were good enemies? Indeed, they are forcing you to avoid shield characters, but in our imagination, you were always possible to build a new team with 4 non-shield characters. So husks were only making this game more interesting by forcing you to try different team setup. But this is only our imagination. In reality, husks are making shield characters useless that you have bought with who knows how much money, so everyone is unhappy. Now developers have already made up their mind to avoid having players that have paid different amount of money experience too differently. So although there is great potential for combat, I don't think it'll eventually come true. Now I can only hope that traditional JRPG developers can finally realize Genshin Impact has shown them a good solution, so I can play better modernized JRPG games. There are also many other aspects of Genshin Impact other than world design, the best part, and combat, which was with the greatest potential. Well, I can get some fun from them, but all in all, I don't think they are as important as these 2 aspects. Now in the end, I'm rethinking how Genshin Impact makes profit. I used to think, well, it's a typical gacha game, but now we all see the best part of Genshin Impact is the free-to-play world design. And what you need to pay to play, aka characters and weapons, don't provide 2 different experiences for different amount of money you pay. So now I think it's more like sponsor style. You play new high-quality maps for free, and when you are truly satisfied, you can sponsor them by buying some characters. Of course, this won't change the form of gacha, but at least I now have a different feeling towards it. Anyway, now you know, when I play Genshin Impact, I'm playing its world design and its combat. I get most fun from these 2 aspects, and this is how I understand today's Genshin Impact and what I expect from it in the coming year. Hope this video can help you as well. Thanks for watching, see you around.